So, first, I'd like to offer my joy and happiness for being here again. As soon as the light of this part of the world hits on me, it always gives me something very special. A really special energy. I've been traveling in many different cities, and some of these cities are really like a film set of Ridley Scott. Here, New Zealand reminds me there's still a planet called Earth, which is so precious. I hope this will remain for a long, long, long time. When people request me to, now I'm getting hot. People request for a teaching. I thought about it and chose compassion as the subject. I know compassion is almost like synonymous to the Buddha Dharma. So, for many of you, it is very predictable. But this time, I chose this subject because I want to address to certain group of people, especially Buddhists who claim to be Buddhist. I want to sort of clarify the concept of compassion. So I'm sorry for those who are totally new to Buddhist philosophy or the Buddhist way of thinking. You might find some of the things what I'm going to say is very technical and maybe you will not be familiar with. Nevertheless, hopefully here and there you will also find something useful from what I have to say tonight. I want to address this generally to all the Buddhists, and especially the Buddhists who are definitely not, of course, Buddhists who are fascist Buddhist, but more so, I want to address this to liberal Buddhist and leftist Buddhist. I want to address this to vegetarian people. I want to address this to Trump haters, Trump hater Buddhists. And I want to also address this to vegetable soap users. The word compassion in English probably is not doing the justice. The Tibetan word for The Sanskrit word karuna is tukje or nyingje. Tuk in Tibetan is an honorific term. Tibetans, like many Asian countries, they have entirely different term. They use entirely different term for, like I said, a lot of things actually. Tibetan word for compassion is sometimes nyingje also. Nying is heart sometimes. It has it also refers to the heart, the organ heart. Tuk also, therefore, is the honorific term referring to the heart of a more sublime being, I guess. But it is the word je which makes things special. Nying and both tuk also refers to mind, cognizance, awareness, anything that is not inanimate. So this is why the word karuna or nyingje or tukje, I don't know how much of that aspect is explained in the English term compassion. And beside that, the word compassion coming, if it is coming with a sort of the context or the background of Abrahamic religion, then probably the word compassion that is used in Buddhism, used for Buddhism, is not only is not doing the service, in fact, it could be misleading. Je is like the Lord, the Reverend, Venerable, the Mighty, the King, the Supreme, just, the best also. So here we are talking about a supreme mind, excellent mind, like really special mind. So from this definition, we should explore what is meant by compassion. Now, compassion is definitely a big deal. As Chandrakirti, one of the great commentator of Mahayana Buddhism in the Nalanda University, said, what makes somebody awakened? Okay. To be awakened is really the goal of Buddhist. What is it that Buddhists want? Why the Buddhists do what they do? Why the Buddhists don't do what they don't do? The aim is to be awakened. This is important. Many people think that Buddhist aim is to do good, like good karma. To do good karma and to avoid bad karma is a Buddhist core practice or the core aim, which is very, very big misunderstanding. Actually, a true Buddhist are not at all interested in being good or doing good. Of course, they are not supposed to be doing bad and not supposed to be interested in bad, of course. But they are not supposed to be also interested in doing good and being good. I've quoted this so many times, which I will quote again. The same scholar, Chandrakirti, said, an idiot will do bad things, and this idiot will go to hell. An idiot will do good things, underline the word idiot and good, and this idiot will go to heaven. Only the wise one will transcend good and bad, and then get awakened. So, to do good and to do bad is really not the sort of the ideal. To be awakened is the aim. So to be awakened, one needs to know the truth. The moment you know it is the truth, the moment you actualize the truth, you are awakened. For instance, because I'm awakened to the truth that this is a flower, that's why when I walk in, I'm not famished. I would not try to eat this, because I know this is flower. If I have too many mushrooms or peyotes beforehand, then yes, because I'm drugged and because I'm temporarily, under the influence of substance, I am not awakened. Therefore, it is possible that I get famished by looking at this really beautiful stuff. So seeing the truth is the cause or only seeing the truth will enlighten us or awaken us. Now this is what we have to invest our time and energy in, really knowing the truth. But knowing the truth is difficult. Many times, truth is too simple and too close, we never see it, or even if we see it, we don't believe. Because most of us, first of all, we are a believer of no pain, no gain. We really believe in struggle. So to tell somebody, you can have all the gain without even a slight pain, unacceptable. People like, even though we call ourselves the lover of freedom, lover of individualism, lover of free, rights, so on and so forth. Within all of us, there is a little bit of North Korean sort of mind. We love dictators. We love it. We just can't have it enough. Of course, it's coated with many, many different spices, but we have that. We like to be dictated. We like systems. We like, path. We like, procedures, rituals. We like hierarchies. We have progress. We like things like progresses and so on and so forth. So there's a challenge to see the truth. As I said, truth fundamentally is too simple, therefore it is the challenge. And also, the habit, as I was saying, we have this habit. There are not just that habit, there are so many other infinite habits we have. So, working with a habit which obscures the truth, that's a really big challenge. So, of all the antidote or the strategy to work with a habit, the compassion is probably the most. You see, it's also like this. We have we want to be awakened. We have a problem. Now we need a solution. And many times, the solutions they themselves end up becoming a problem. The solutions, there's so many. Among the Buddhists they have also things like mindfulness. That mindfulness that is going on these days a lot. That can become a problem. Mindfulness without the wisdom is like the perfect cause for constipation. All you do is worry about not being mindful. You understand? So things like mindfulness, vegetarian, morally sound, so on and so forth, all actually becomes a problem. So what we need, by the way, I'm not rejecting them, we have to apply. We have no choice. But we have to also choose a path that is the least problematic, so to speak. Path that is least, path that will bring closer to the truth fastest, path that speaks the language and have the nuances and have the aroma and the flavor of the truth. We have to have that more. Path that distance us from the truth. We have to sort of be aware of, be cautious, be always, careful. So as we go on looking at all these paths, myriad, so many different kinds of tools and methods. Compassion is the most risk-free, closest to what we talk about the truth, and also economical, and also it encompasses everything. This is why compassion is in the same Chandrakirti, the scholar I was quoting earlier. He wrote a very famous book called Madhyamika Avatara, and there Chandrakirti praised compassion and paid homage even before the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. He paid homage to the compassion, because compassion is, after all, like the root of all the sort of the cause of all the enlightened path. Okay, so I'm going to use Chandrakirti's there's one shloka, one verses, where he explained the compassion, and I'm going to be based on that. There are there are three compassions he talked about. Since, again, as I was saying earlier, as a human being, we have this habit of hierarchy. What is the best? What is the quickest? What is the greatest? And the slowest, and so on and so forth. So he talked about three compassion. The highest, the best, and then lesser one, and the least. I'm going to first talk briefly about the highest one. The reason is, most probably, we won't be able to practice that compassion, sort of practically. But maybe it is good to hear anyway at least have some sort of aspiration. But it is like the foundation, or it's the most fundamental. Without that, the Buddhist concept of compassion, so-called the compassion, is worthless. So for this reason, first I'm going to talk about the first compassion. We will, okay. The name for these three compassions, it would be interesting for you to know. The divisions of these three compassions are made based on the object of compassion, and this is very interesting. Okay, so I'm talking about the highest, the lesser, and the least. The least, the lowest sort of hierarchy, the lowest class of compassion uses sentient beings like human beings, ghosts, animals, whatever, sentient beings as an object of compassion. That's the lowest class compassion. So can you see now why I was going on about Trump hater, liberals, and so on? I will come back to that. That's the least, that's the lowest. The second, the higher than that, is called Chölami Binyingje. That compassion uses phenomena as an object of compassion. Now that is quite high. That is actually, that is quite high. Now the third compassion is Migwa Mebinyingje, no object. So the first two has object. The first one being the sentient beings as the object. The second as the phenomena as an object. And the third one has no object. And as I'm repeating here, this third one is utmost important. Without that, you could say the character of the compassion that is taught in Buddhism is lost. Most of the time these days, when we talk about compassion, we are always talking about the first one, intentionally or unintentionally. We are always talking about that. The first compassion is what we call common compassion. That kind of compassion is taught in many different religions, and even non-religious people have that kind of compassion to the certain extent, not fully though. The second and the third is exclusive. Especially the third one is Mahayana exclusive compassion. This is important that we know. But, okay, let's talk a little bit about the Migwa Mebinyingje, the objectless compassion. The third compassion actually, the third compassion exists completely only with a fully enlightened being, such as the Buddha. Even the 10th Bhumi Bodhisattva was supposed to have not they only have the incomplete third compassion.
Well, what I've understood so far is that real compassion is actually understanding. There is nothing and nothing else. Because if it's anything other than understanding, then the last resort is feelings, actually. Yeah. So that's why we often contradict ourselves, whether it's understanding or whether it's feeling. And we tend to fall more towards feeling because we feel that that's coming from the heart, Because when we go towards the heart, then the heart starts to beat a little bit, and then makes a little sort of louder noise of the thumbs. So we feel this is genuine. That's what everybody's saying, that you should follow your heart. So that's sort of misleading in a way, I think. Yes. The real compassion comes from really understanding. If I cannot understand you, then how can I say I feel compassion? Yes, it's very wrong of me. Either I'm saying it just like that, or I really don't know what I'm saying. Yes. So I really have to understand you. But how can I understand you? Because I cannot read your mind. So instead, what I do is go back to the drawing board, which is find a similar state. That you and I are no different because we have consciousness, we are human beings, yes, we are sentient beings, we all have emotions, so therefore I'm the best drawing board. My own mind, my own body, my own speech. So then I analyze myself more and more and more. The more I analyze myself, then I come to know about myself. If I come to know that the architecture is same, then I can relate. Yes, we may have intricate, some common karmas, some intricate and individual karmas. That's something that I cannot deal right now, let's say. That will be next time, let's say. But right now, what I can deal is with the basics. Yes, the basics would be basically like afflictive emotions, karmas, habitual patterns. These three, which is known as obscurations. Yeah? These three. So if I can relate to those are the basic, and often the basics are often quite essential. It's more or less the essence. Often we think that the basic is it's just courtesy sake, yes, but it isn't. The basic is, I believe, very, very essential. It's the essence. So once we are familiar with one's own sort of basics, then I can relate to each and every others.
Really makes differences about our health and day-to-day life, more happier. And one's own inner happiness, inner calmness also creates some peaceful atmosphere. That also many other people enjoy. So through that way, we can create more happier society. Something like one family. That we really need. Money, power may not bring that. That thing can bring only through sincere, compassionate attitude. Even animals. I think sometimes, because we can learn more things from animals rather than human beings. Animals, they don't care whether that person is rich or poor, whether that person is this color, this religion or that religion, or non-believer. They do not know, don't care. But they care very much. The other person's sort of attitude. Affectionate attitude. Sincere, not lying, not cheating. Then these animals also very much appreciate, like dogs, cats, and some birds also. So here I have still is one question. Whether mosquito have the ability to appreciate of others' affection. That still I don't know. And some small insect, they may not have the ability. Their brain size is too small. So they are only sort of equipped for just day-to-day survival of day-to-day life. That's all. But many cases, even animals also have the sort of appreciate others' truthfulness, honesty, compassion. So then we, human beings, suppose we have much more intelligence. If that intelligence destroyed or negligence about this basic value, which even other animals also appreciate, if that we neglect or minimize, it is not sort of the intelligent sort of act. It is, I think, foolish. I think basically our nature, I believe, more compassionate. One killer sign is, firstly, we everybody come from mother's womb, and we survived with mother's milk. So at that time, immense affection from our mother. And our side also totally relying on mother. At that time, we have no idea who is that person. But we do appreciate affection, smile, closeness feeling. So then we trust that, totally rely on that. So according to medical doctor, after birth, next few weeks, mother's physical touch is very crucial factor for proper development of brain of the child.